Hey guys, welcome back to B2 here today with another Marvel Rivals guide. Today we're taking a look at Magneto. This is going to be just sort of a base guide on all of his abilities and kits and synergies, everything like that, how you can play Magneto the most efficiently. Magneto is one of the stronger tanks in the game, especially once you get a hang on his full sort of set of abilities. And first off, we're just going to start with his synergies. Magneto currently has one synergy with Scarlet Witch called Metallic Chaos, which gives him the Metallic Fusion ability. This is one of those synergies that adds an actual extra ability onto your kit, so he now gains an ability on 𝐷𝐸. And this, if you want any tip out of this whole video, if you're going to play Magneto, only do it if you have a Wanda. Legitimately don't play Magneto unless you have Wanda on your team as a synergy, because the difference in efficiency on like how good of a asset to your team you're going to be without a Wanda, he's like, you know, like a 5 or a 6, and with a Wanda it's like 12 out of 10. The man is insane. This ability is so overtuned and overpowered. I don't know how it exists in the game, and it probably won't even make it to launch this strong, which, as with all these guides, if there's any major changes like balancing, adding abilities, removing abilities, that stuff is going to be in a pinned comment down below. So if Magneto comes out and it's a completely different ability, that'll be down there. But with the Magneto, we currently have Metallic Fusion on your 𝐷𝐸 is added by having a Scarlet Witch on your team, and then you also get a little bit of a bonus for her and yourself. It's either like more health for Magneto, more damage for Wanda, something like that. But definitely, if you're going to play Magneto, play Scarlet. Like, if someone locks in Scarlet and you're going to be a tank, just go with Magneto. He is so strong with a Scarlet on your team. And that should lead us right into the abilities. We might as well start with that ability while we're already on the topic, but on 𝐷𝐸, you're going to activate Metallic Fusion. This is your synergy ability with Wanda, where she infuses Chaos Energy into Magneto to enchant his Greatsword. Upon receiving the energy, you can unleash its full force, striking down enemies with the enchanted Greatsword. Basically, you just activate it, and for a short amount of time, you can swing like a big sweeping Greatsword that also has a very strong distance of range to it that does a absurd amount of damage, like way more damage than anything should do in this game. This is why this is such a necessary synergy and just such an overpowered ability. You'll see it in this video many times. Basically, if you need to kill anything at any point, anytime your C is ready, like anytime it comes off cooldown, activate it and you can take out like 2, 3, 4 enemies. Like, you honestly can team wipe. It 2 hits anything that's not a tank, any healer, any DPS. It is like a 2 at most 3 hit, and you get to swing this thing like, I don't know, 8 times, 10 times. He just swings back and forth, back and forth. If you're against a Magneto and you see this man pull out the sword, you need to leave, because it is legitimately a team wiping ability where you can just, as one single player, wipe at least 2, 3, 4 enemies and basically, like, you know, just win an entire round. It's extremely strong, and it's on a decently short cooldown. It will come back like multiple times in a fight. You can just wipe a team using this, and it also goes like through people, so like healers that are hiding behind like a different tank, you can hit them both like collateral wise. You basically just activate this and zone out any healer or any like DPS, and you will win that fight every single time. It's extremely strong, it's easy to hit with it, it's got a really wide hitbox and good range. It's just one of the most broken abilities in the whole game, and basically the core of his entire kit, and that's why I say the Wanda synergy is so important. But we'll quickly go through the rest of this stuff. Really, all you need is the 𝐷𝐸. But on your left click, you have Iron Volley. This is your normal attack. Fire a volley of magnetic orbs forward. Something notable is that there's a decent like amount of splash damage on this attack, and it also explodes like automatically after a certain range. So you can shoot into the sky at like an Iron Man or a Storm, and even though you're not impacting into anything, if you can like distance it out correctly, it will still explode like beside them or in front of them and do a decent amount of damage. It's a pretty strong attack in general. You do need to reload, and it's pretty slow, but it is slow firing, slow reloading, but decently high damage with splash damage. You can hit people around a corner as they run away. You can still catch them with a little bit of splash. So it's pretty strong overall. I definitely think Magneto has like a good kit, but still the C is necessary. Moving on, I don't have a screenshot to use for like a graphic of the F, but he has an E and an F now. In the alpha previously, there was no F ability. But his E is called Metal Bulwark, where you conjure a metal shield around a chosen ally, and the damage they take will transform into rings on Magneto's back, which we're going to link that in with the right click here shortly. But basically, it's a meter in the middle of your screen that you can see sort of charge up, and it's used for a separate ability. But as for right now, the E is something you can use to just throw a shield onto one of your teammates. It lasts for a couple seconds. It's not like anything crazy, but you can throw it on a healer or like on a dive if your Spider-Man is diving in. Something really strong to do with your E is any sort of character that has an ultimate where they're pretty vulnerable. This is also really nice with the Scarlet synergy, since you're probably going to have a Scarlet anyways playing him. You can use your E to completely protect her when she uses her ultimate, and it makes for this really strong team play sort of synergy that you can also do just like a higher skill ceiling thing. And you can do the same sort of thing with like a Spider-Man ultimate or an Iron Man ultimate, stuff like that. But Wanda specifically, when she activates her ult, it's, you know, so loud, everyone looks at her, everyone starts shooting her, and all they have to do is kill her before she can actually get that ultimate off, and it stops it completely. She definitely has one of the most like vulnerable ultimates where it's hard to get it off, and like it's got such a long wind up, everyone can see it, there's a symbol on the screen, everyone just shoots a Wanda down quickly, especially a good team or high skill level thing like that. If you're in a higher rank or everyone's really sweating it out, a Wanda generally isn't going to get their ultimate off. Whereas if you sort of team up with a Magneto and you guys are communicating, as she hits her ultimate, you can hit her with the E, and it's going to protect her from any damage for basically the entire duration that it goes off. Plus the enemy team, if they're good, they turn to shoot at her. They're not really going to run away from the ultimate. Like a good player is going to just try and shoot the Wanda down before it goes off. And so if you throw a shield on her and now she's not going to die, they're all still standing there, you're going to be able to team up that way and get a lot of kills for your Wanda. And it's just an example of how to use his E in a really strong way. When you're not doing something like that, just use it to throw onto like a dive or a healer. Anyone who's in like a bad position, especially a healer who can't like heal themselves as easily, like an Adam Warlock or a Luna or something like that, you can kind of throw your E on them to protect them for a short amount of time. It works to block like other ultimates too, so if your team's about to get hit by some big insta-kill ultimate, you can throw a shield at least on one person. And the new thing in the alpha is that on F you have the same exact ability but for yourself, and they have a tied together cooldown, so you can hit your E to throw a shield on someone else, or you can hit an F to just throw it onto yourself. So like if someone's about to hit you with some sort of huge ultimate or something's flying at you or you're about to die and you just need to run back, you can hit F to give yourself a momentary shield as well for a short amount of time. On top of that, he also has his own like shield wall that he can put up with left shift called Metallic Curtain. So this ability has a cooldown, but it's only a couple seconds. It generally also has like a charge meter when you hold it up, so like it has a health and a cooldown. It's not like Doctor Strange's ability where you can put it up and down over and over and it just has a health bar. It instead like has a health bar and a cooldown where if it hasn't fully shattered and it's not completely out of health, you can put it up, but then you have to wait, I believe it's like 2 seconds to put it back up again. It's nothing crazy, but you can hold it up only for a certain amount of time as well. That drains sort of the meter down, whereas Doctor Strange's will stay up as long as it has health. You can hold it up. This one is timed as well, and then cooldown, for example. So if you're trying to block like a Spider-Man ult, he dives in behind your team and starts doing his thing, you can hold it up and it should block the entire thing. But if you hold it up already and then they see you put it down, then they know you can't pull it back up right away, so that makes you a little more vulnerable there. It's generally just a shield ability. It works like you would imagine, and it's good for pushing the payload, it's good for entering a choke point, stuff like that. Simple shield gameplay. Now moving on to what we were talking about with the E and the F, that charges your right click called Mag Cannon, which converts the iron rings on your back into a mag cannon and launch a metallic mass forward. Higher stacks of the rings increase the damage, and full stacks knock back enemies. So this is anytime you're blocking stuff with your E or your F, so you like throw an E onto a teammate, he gets shot a bunch. This is going to charge that up for you. I believe it also charges over time, but don't quote me on that because I don't have the game available right now. But you anyways have a charge in the middle of your screen. As it gets higher, you can mix a right click in with your left clicks every now and then, and it does a very decent amount of damage, nothing crazy. It's kind of the same as your left click, but fully charged will knock back enemies, and you can slam them into like a wall. You can disorient someone. Technically you can throw them like off the edge if you're in a spot where that's available to you. It's good for just like knocking someone around. Also sometimes use it like if there is a dive like a Spider-Man or a Magic in the back line of your team, you can use this to push them further back so they can't get away. You can use this to push like a tank backwards off of an objective, stuff like that. It's just good for sort of disorienting the enemies, and mixing it in with your left clicks just gives you a little bit more damage as well. And then finally, Magneto has a passive called Magnetic Descent. This is just like Wand does, or I think there's a Rocket has it as well, where you just hold space to fall slowly when you're in the air. I forget that I even have this, but you can use it to like jump down off somewhere and sort of hover down, and you can attack while you're doing it, you can shield while you're doing it. Basically, you can just slowly float or glide around kind of when you're falling if you hold space. And that brings us to his ultimate, Meteor M on Q. Alter the magnetic field to draw on matter and projectiles, forge a massive iron meteor, delivering catastrophic damage to the targeted area upon impact. A little exaggeratory, I don't ever really see this do much damage. I believe that's because the way it works is you hit Q, you go into this sort of phase where you float up into the air, and anything that people are shooting at you, like any sort of abilities, it'll even absorb other ultimates. It basically sucks in any damage that's coming towards you or even in your general vicinity into your ultimate, and then I believe this makes yours do more damage. So if you hit your Q and you're against a good team and they don't shoot at you while you're doing it, it's not going to do as much. But if you like see an Iron Man's able to shoot you with his ult, you can actually activate yours and it will absorb his into yours, and it works with like Punisher's ultimate or just normal shooting from like any enemies that are just shooting at you. It will absorb all of those like bullets and everything into the ultimate, and then you can throw that back and do damage to, you know, whoever you can manage to hit with it. I usually just try and aim it at like a healer or someone small like that, because it generally doesn't even do enough to actually kill them, but it'll do like half to 3/4 health or something like that. It's a decent ability. It's not like one of the better ults in my opinion, but since it does have that counterplay where you can sort of negate someone else's ultimate, does make it pretty strong in that regard. You're just not going to really see that many crazy kills with it. The main piece of the whole kit is that C, like I said. That's where you're going to see like your huge pop-offs and most of your kills come from. But in general, he's just a really good tank to have. He's got good survivability, he's got the shield. You can like block so many people's ultimates just with that shield as well if you know what you're doing and you time it right. Just bringing that left shift shield up is going to block most ults in the game. And having the ability to shield yourself and your teammates as well makes him a good choice for any team really, especially good in payload like I said. But that's going to be about it for Magneto. I know this was a bit of a longer one, but Magneto's one of my like stronger characters that I generally am confident playing now. So I wanted to kind of give more depth to the stuff I was talking about. So check out Magneto when the game comes back around. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it. I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you want to see more Marvel Rivals stuff or any really gaming things like that. Lots of game videos all the time. Lots of Rivals guides. And then, of course, covering the game more when it finally comes out. Thank you guys.